Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm completely fine, ma'am. What about you, ma'am?
I'm also doing good. Thank you so much for asking. And how has the day been for you?
It's been quite fine, I would say. And if I describe something about myself, so I'm currently into kind of family business. And yes, ma'am. So due to that, if I talk about my condition today, so I would say it was kind of average. Yes, if I talk about from my business point, business life point of view, and if I talk about from my regular life, so it was kind of fine, I would say, because there were my friends who came to meet me at my shop. So yes, it became a kind of fine day for me. But on the or else, on the other hand, if I talk about from the business point of view, so it was kind of average for me. Yes, ma'am. So that's the thing.
Okay. I think we're meeting for the very first time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, shall we start by introducing ourselves?
Sure, sure.
Do you want to go first?
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
Sure.
First of all, greetings, ma'am. And my name is Vansh Davani, and I'm currently 18 years old. And
Okay.
as far as my educational qualifications are concerned, so I have completed my class 10th and 12th from an ICSE school called Progressive
Mm-hmm.
Education. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
currently living in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. And I'm currently into the first year of my college, and I'm pursuing BBA on the other hand
Mm-hmm.
in management. Yes. And yes, if
Mm-hmm.
I talk about my family members, so my father, he is a successful businessman. My mom is a homemaker, and I have one sibling. So if I talk about myself, so if I talk about my hobby especially, so I like to play video games a lot, and I also love to read books, I will say. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
that I yearn to become a very successful businessman, I would say. Yes, ma'am. So that was all about myself.
Okay, that sounds amazing. But while you're saying, you say if I talk about a lot. So instead of it, you can simply just move on to thing that you want to talk about, or you can say talking about my hobbies or moving towards my hobbies. There are different ways of saying it so that it does not
Yes,
sound
it makes it more
repetitive.
professional. Yes, it sounds more professional.
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you about myself a little bit. My name is Asmita. I live in Himachal Pradesh and I'm currently pursuing a PhD. And I've been a spoken English coach for about a year and a half now. And it's been lovely to meet you here today. So, once you are completing your BBA and you're also doing the family business side by side, how's that going? Because usually in college, the students are not very serious about working or studying for that matter, and they're mostly concerned about their, having fun, bunking classes. So, how's that going for you?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, what happened, there's a very big story behind that. Almost a year ago, I think, yes, in 2024 year itself, I had completed my class 12th board exams. So day after that only, when my board exams got completed, actually, so my dad called me that he said me that simply that once from the next day you have to join my shop and you have to take the responsibilities because now you are a 17-year-old boy and I expect a lot from you. So better
Mm-hmm.
would be that from tomorrow itself you start coming at our shop. So yes, ma'am, from
Mm-hmm.
that it has been a kind of I can say continuation in which I have been going regularly to my shop. And if I talk about college, like how I'm managing all these things. So yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, the point here is the college which I'm currently into. So that college is owned by my uncle, I would say. Yes, ma'am, he's
Okay.
actually the chairman as well as director of that college, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. So yes, ma'am, he has made things I would say a lot easier for me, I would say. Like not
Mm-hmm.
only in terms of education, but in terms of everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I won't say that I don't go to college regularly, but yes, that's the point. But still, like I somehow manage that. Even should I like at least I think I go for at least 2 or 3 times in a week, I would say. And I think
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's very important actually to visit college for at least 2 or 3 days in a week because
Mm-hmm.
if I don't do that, so actually, it will impact my, I would say, college life because ultimately, if I stop going to college, because I was also having that option also that I can't go to
Mm-hmm.
college regularly as my college is owned by director or my uncle, I would say yes. But still, I
Mm-hmm.
had chose the another path, I would say, in which I can actually make some new kind of friends and I can have a
Mm-hmm.
kind of social life, or else I
Mm-hmm.
ultimately I would say busy in my business, and that
Mhm,
would ultimately that would have an ultimate impact, I would say, on my mental health. So if I mean, how
mhm,
to balance all those things, I've been doing I've been going 2 or 3 days to the college in
mhm,
a week. Yes, so that's how
mhm.
I manage all these things. Yes.
Amazing. See, you said if I had chose another path, it should have been if I had chosen another path, because in the perfect tense with had and has, we use the third form of the verb, and it is choose, chose, chosen. It should be I had chosen another path. Okay, that's amazing. So you're getting a practical life experience of whatever you must be studying in the college because you're managing the business as well. So that's amazing. Uh, do you ever feel the fear of missing out when you do not go to the college for those 2 3 days? If maybe something interesting happens, do you ever get that feeling that why did I not go there? I missed out on this fun.
Yes, ma'am, that always happens, I would say. But like it used to happen initially, I would say, when I had
Mm-hmm.
started, like in the initial days when I had joined college. So it was kind of this thing only. Like it had created a kind of FOMO in my mind that my friends, like they have been actually enjoying their life. They have been attending many
Mm-hmm.
event and all those things which happens in college. And on the other
Mm-hmm.
hand, I would say I'm a kind of like boy who is actually managing his business, who is not doing
Mm-hmm.
anything related to like his social life, or is not doing any
Mm-hmm.
kind of enjoyment in his life. So initially that thing also used to impact my mental health, I would say. But earlier
Mm-hmm.
when I used to go college for at least 2 or 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
so I would say that it has actually touchwood balanced my mental health as well as I would say physical health for me. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that's the thing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's amazing. So, what do you plan to do once you complete your BBA? Do you want to pursue further higher education, or would you just like to implement the education and run the business?
If I talk about the reality of my course, which I'm currently doing, so I think, ma'am, you also know that BBA and
Mm-hmm.
MBA, not only BBA but also BCom, like these two
Mm-hmm.
courses, I shouldn't say this thing, but in my opinion, I think that these courses they don't even matter in terms of I would say education and but like in order to just create a kind of I would say due to kind of peer pressure, we have to
Mm-hmm.
at least take a kind of degree so that we can show in some in to society that yes, we have carrying a kind of degree and we are actually somehow basically basic educated. Yes, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
point of degree which I'm currently doing because what I've noticed around like in my college, like all like every people like who are doing BBA, not only BBA but also BCom,
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
all are actually enjoying their life. They are not doing anything practically. They are not actually
Mm-hmm.
doing any kind of business startup, or they are at least not doing any
Mm-hmm.
kind of internship. They all are like
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing is like they're enjoying their life in college. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the thing which I expect from, especially from a BBA and BCom college, because I
Mm-hmm.
think, in my opinion, I think BBA and BCom has like no future. I would say, yes, that's my opinion. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So, see, you use the term every people, but every is a
Yes,
single
sorry,
term.
everybody.
It could be
Yes.
every person. Okay, people is a plural term because. Okay, so what are your plans related to your business? Do you plan to take it a step further, maybe make it change? Because you said that you want to be a successful business owner. So, what does the success of the business mean to you?
So currently, I have not made any kind of plans. Like I will share all the things honestly with
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
currently following the same path because
Mm-hmm.
it's not been even I would say 1 year in the, like from the time when I've joined the business. Since I've
Mm-hmm.
joined the business actually, yes. So I think it will like I'm currently on a kind of learning phase in which I'm learning and adapting the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have not even successfully adapted the environment in my business till now. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
currently I won't say that everything is new for me, but I'm still on a kind of learning phase where I'm learning all
Mm-hmm.
those things. And I think it will almost take around 1 or 2 years more in order to learn
Mhm,
all these things. And first of all, like if my I would say base of the business
mhm,
gets ready, so after that I will actually, I will take another step, yes, to do any other thing which I want to do or to expand my business simply in simple
mhm,
words, I would say. So, yes,
mhm,
ma'am, but I have already made plans. Like,
mhm,
once I clear this path or once I like I
mhm,
complete this thing, so after that, I will
mhm,
step towards another thing or towards expansion of business. Like, I will, whatever, like, I will expand my business to franchisee model or I
mhm,
will actually take my business to the online world. So, yes,
mhm,
ma'am,
mhm.
these are my plans. Yes.
And what is this business about?
This business is all about, ma'am, fabric, suits, sarees,
Oh,
dressing
amazing.
material, and all those things. Yes.
Okay, that sounds amazing. Okay, and you also mentioned that you loved reading books. So, what kind of books do you read?
I read like mostly books which are related to skiffy and horror. Yes.
Mhm. Okay, any favorites that you have?
Favorite, like I don't have any kind of favorite book honestly because I've started reading from I think past 1 or 2 months because I think in order to increase my fluency level of English I have to read books. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
like from starting, if I talk about my childhood, so I was not very passionate guy towards reading books and all those things. And yes, if I tell like about me simply, so I was not a kind of studious guy in the school. So yes, ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
but in order to just like improve my fluency level of English, I have started reading books, or else
Mm-hmm.
I was not having an actual passion about reading books, I would say. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, what is it that you like to do? Like, if you get a free time and you have to spend it, or maybe just kill time, what would you like to do?
Talking about skills, ma'am, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, like if you have some free time, what do you like to do in that?
Like nowadays, what kind of pattern I have been following actually is that whenever I'm getting free time, so what I usually do is like I book sessions on this platform, and other than that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes I start playing video games. Like not always, I will say, because I know that's a very bad thing to do. But yes, I now usually do sessions only on EnglishYaari, and other than that, I also do many other sessions on other platforms. I would say where
Mm-hmm.
like I can actually meet people on one-on-one basis, and I can communicate with them in English. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in my free time nowadays, I usually practice my English. I would say yes by doing all these sessions. Yes.
That's amazing. That's an amazing thing to do. And do you also like play games and go out with friends?
No, ma'am, nothing. Currently,
Oh.
it's nothing because like honestly, I'm engaged into my business like I think for at
Mm-hmm.
least 10 or 12 hours in a day. So that thing becomes impossible for me. So
Mm-hmm.
like in order to the only sole reason behind joining such kind of platforms is like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to actually improve my English, or I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to improve my communication skills. The
Mm-hmm.
only factor, like only the matter of fact here is like I just want to communicate with people, and the people like who have the same mindset like me,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can open myself up, like not only
Mm-hmm.
in terms of education but in also in the terms of business. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's my sole
You-
purpose.
You're looking for somebody who has a business mind and you can have like-minded conversations with them.
Yes, ma'am, that's the thing, and that's why I've been taking the sessions on this platform regularly, I will say, and not only this but also on other platforms. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
just in order to like tell about myself to people, and also to know about their perspective towards business and life, I would say. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's amazing. And you said you live in Indore, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes,
Okay, so how's life in Indore? Like, it's the cleanest city. That's all I know about it. So, how's life there? What all did you do in school, and what kind of places do you like to visit there?
yes, ma'am. So if I talk about life in Indore, so Indore earlier it not used to be that kind of place where people used to, or basically I would say where many people used to visit, because earlier it used to be kind of normal place. But after I can say
Mm-hmm.
from past 6 to 7 years, like Indore has seen, I can say, significant development in terms
Mm-hmm.
of everything. I will say, I will not mention a single thing. I will say Indore has developed a lot in terms of everything, like in terms of
Mm-hmm.
education, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
social life, in terms of, I would say, travel, in terms of everything. Yes. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am. So if I talk something about special about Indore, so like there are many famous places in Indore, especially. Uh, and
Mm-hmm.
like if I talk about famous places, so they are related to food and all those things, where I can
Mm-hmm.
say most of the people are actually those who live out of Indore, or they are actually tourists. And these two places are like first is 56 Dukan, and second is Sarafa. Yes, these are I can say one of the most famous places which are present in Indore, which have
Mm-hmm.
everything, I would say, which offer not only food but also enjoyment and
Mm-hmm.
what's that called, clubbing and all those things. Yes, ma'am. So it includes
Mm-hmm.
everything, I will say. So yes, ma'am. That's the thing which I know about Indore. Yes.
So what kind of student were you at school? Were you obviously said that you were not the studious one, but were you the mischievous one?
Yes, I can surely agree to this thing. Yes, I used to be a kind of mischievous boy. Yes, but it used to be in my childhood times, I would say, when I used to be in fifth, sixth, or seventh, and I think till eighth class, I used to be a kind of mischievous guy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I have suspended from my school for more than 3 times. Yes,
Oh
not more
my
than three,
God.
but yes, for 2 times, I would say. Yes.
And what was it that you exactly did that led to that suspension?
The only and only reason behind my suspension was bullying and ragging of my
Oh,
classmates.
okay. Well, that's bad.
Yes,
Okay.
that's really bad, and
So,
due to got suspended.
and then did you improve on it?
Improve, I would say, after these incidents occurred with me, I think I have changed my life a lot, I would say, because after these incident actually
Mm-hmm.
happened, so I think yes, it happened during eighth class, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
time during 2019. Yes, and yes,
Mm-hmm.
it happened in November or December 2019. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think when I came in ninth class, yes, ma'am. So during that time, COVID or lockdown, yes, actually came. COVID wave
Mm-hmm.
actually came at that time, and we were at that time when lockdown got announced. So we were actually sitting at our home and we were doing online classes. So due to
Mm-hmm.
that, I think I had like isolated myself, I would say, from all my friends, and I had like completely destroyed my social life, I would say, because during the time of online classes, as I used to be a kind of mischievous guy, so I used to only and only play video games at that time, and life had become worse for me, yes, ma'am, at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these things have actually taught me a great lesson in life, or I would say very important lesson in life. And after that, I think back in 2022, when lockdown got actually over and our schools got reopened, so at that time the life had become more worse for me because as I had like actually lost my connection with all my friends, so everything was new for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I had like started preventing myself from all my friends and all my teachers, and everyone was I would say everyone was shocked to see this thing, like how a guy who used to be very mischievous at some time is
Mm-hmm.
not like not even talking to someone, and he's just sitting at the
Mm-hmm.
corner, and yes, he's just like busy in himself. Yes, that's how my situation got. Yes, ma'am. Actually, and I think it happened from 11th to 12th class, I would say, and for like from 2022 February to 2000, I should say 2024 February. Yes, ma'am. These 2 years, like they were very worse for me. I would say from 10th to 12th class, like I had prevented myself from making new friends, and yes, I was completely alone at that point. That point, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and if due to that, as I was alone, so I got completely engaged in studying. And yes, at that time I had become a topper of class because yes, if I had, I think if I had sacrificed my social life, I would say, or social skills. So on the other hand,
Mm-hmm.
I think I had gained more grades. I would say yes. In terms of education, I had become much more greater guy. I would say yes, and yes, that's how the things went in my life. I would say so. It was a kind of roller coaster in simple words for me. Yes, my life.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's really a roller coaster to say the least. But did you gain your people's skill back, or are you still that introvert person that the lockdown made you?
So now, like due to like all the credit goes to such kind of platforms, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And the another credit which I would like to give you is to my shop. Like these things, they
Mm-hmm.
actually taught me that what happens actually into the real world when you step outside your comfort zone, when you step into the outside world. So
Mm-hmm.
if, these things, like they have actually improved me a lot, and I think now I can adapt. Like I can surely say about myself that yes, I am not that introvert boy that I used to be, and I think I have improved a lot. Yes, ma'am. And I am not like by God's grace, I'm not facing that problem, like all those mental health issues, I would say. And yes, now I can talk to anyone like very confidently. I would say yes,
Mm-hmm.
not even online, but also in physically. I would say yes.
Okay, that's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, COVID was a tough time for people, and it changed people with in different ways actually. So
Yes.
for you it was that, maybe for others it was something else, but in general, how was the time of COVID? Were you scared at that time, or you were still in school? And I remember when COVID came, I thought, oh god, you could have done this while I was still younger, still in school, so that I did not understand what was happening and I was not this anxious all the time. So did you have a sense of what was happening around, and did it scare you, or were you busy with the games and were happy in your own shell?
Yes, so I was completely busy in game.
Mhm,
And at that time, I was like, I should consider myself as a very crazy guy because at that time, when lockdown got announced, so I was considering that thing as a heaven, I would say, because like
mhm,
why I was considering that thing was heaven because I have got full time to play video games. I was just sitting in my
mhm,
room playing video games
mhm,
for at least 14 hours continuously. And yes, these things had impacted a lot. So I think that was a very painful time for me. And
mhm,
if I still remember all those thoughts, and yes, ma'am, so they have created a kind of trauma in my life, I would say. Yes, that's
mhm,
how crazy I had done in my life, I would say. Yes, ma'am. So these things, like they still scare me a lot, and I don't want to go back in that phase of life. And yes, I always like wish to God that like I don't want to go in that phase of life. Yes, that's the thing
Mm-hmm.
that I would say. Like still also I'm like sharing all those live incidents with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still getting a kind of goosebumps. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, I can totally understand what you're trying to say. Okay, so we've almost reached the end of the session over here. And the feedback that I have for you is, as I told you in the beginning, you sometimes speak if I talk about a lot. So that's something that you can work a little bit upon. Then every people is incorrect because every is also a singular word, and with it we should use person, not people. Having said that, I feel that most of your English is good. You have a good sense of expression and you give me all the details. So there's nothing wrong in that. I just feel that you speak a little too fast. So maybe if you can make your pace a little slower, that would have been wonderful. Other than that, everything else was wonderful. So I have no issues with anything else, but just the pace being a little too fast. And that's it from my end. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions I would say, but yes, I have to like as a thing which you mentioned, I have to really work upon my pace. Yes, and that's the
Yes.
feedback I would say that I almost receive from every teacher on this platform.
Yes.
Yes, as I
Other
told
than
you
that,
that in yes,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no,
yes,
please
as I
continue.
told you during my conversation that
Mm-hmm.
English and fluency, these things are not related for me. Or I think these are the not things which I wanted to actually work upon. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the thing which I actually wanted to work upon is like to build confidence actually, and so
Mm-hmm.
that I can speak in a kind of
Mm-hmm.
stage or in order to remove stage fear and in order to
Mm-hmm.
improve my communication skills. So these are the three main points which I've
Mm-hmm.
been sincerely working upon. Yes,
And I think that you've worked upon them very well because all of this I can say that you are good at. But the space thing is a little something that can, of course, require a little working on. And is there something else that I can help you up with?
yes.
Okay, so if you do not have any further questions, I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for joining. It was
So,
lovely meeting
thank
you
you
here
so much.
today,
Thank
and I hope to see you again soon. And
you.
have a very good evening.
Thank you so much, Mamba.
You're welcome. Bye bye.